offering. In today's practice, we're going to focus into the throat chakra. And as you do, join us as we set our intentions. Take your awareness within, closing the eyes and considering the truth of your desire deep within the heart space as it may relate to any issues surrounding your throat chakra. Just pausing to consider briefly any issues you've had lately with your throat or neck on the physical plane, as well as with any issues you might have had about communication, both towards other people and internally to yourself. Calling upon your intentions to see to it that you utilize the energy in today's DVD to set you on the course towards a greater alignment through the throat chakra to run the divine energy that you most essentially are. And so it is, having paused to consider our truest intentions, we offer together our voices once with the sound of the path. Inhaling. Hari Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. And from this space, pause and notice the effect already of chanting the sound of Om in your throat chakra, starting to warm up the area with vibrational current, and furthering the cause as we shift into a particular pranayama breath that's referred to as lion's breath. As you're able to from here, and on your next exhalation, you'll stick your tongue both out and downward at the same time, the eyes drawing up and through. We'll do it 3 times with a full deep exhalation. Inhalation and exhaling. Releasing to inhale. Exhaling. Releasing to inhale. Exhaling. Releasing and inhaling and feeling the sensation of greater warmth and circulation throughout your throat and neck.
Now we're going to bring another practice into the throat and neck area called Jalandhara Bandha. It's a way to draw energy through the throat chakra. The Jalandhara Bandha is a little bit like a cobra snake hooding up. The neck hoods up like a cobra snake. So let's practice it now. As you inhale, draw your chin in. It's not jamming your chin back. It's just hooding in with the chin slightly. Now you can do that at any point in the breath. We're going to do it at the end of inhales. We're going to practice it 3 times. Exhale all the air out first. Empty slowly, completely. Then inhale. Now draw air in. Fill the lungs from the bottom to the top. And now as you hold the air in, apply Jalandhara Bandha. Chin in as you see ki. Shoulders back down. And this neck is lengthening. The back of the neck lengthens. The front of the neck lengthens. The chin is in. You're drawing the energy through like through a chimney flue up into the 6th chakra. Then release. Inhale. And now a couple more times. We're going to try at the end of exhales. Exhale. All the air out. Draw in with your chin. Jalandhara Bandha. Bring the base of the tongue back. Chin is in. Neck is long. You're drawing the energy through the throat chakra, opening it. Inhale. And then last time. Exhale all the air out the mouth. And with the air held out, draw in with your chin, up through the neck, hooding up like a cobra, drawing the energy through the throat chakra, opening it, letting that energy move through, and then release.
We'll be taking these practices and the energy that we're experiencing now in the throat chakra with us into some standing positions. Now coming into a standing mountain position, take your hands together at the level of the heart. Pause to further consider any of your truest prayers for today's practice, and draw on with us as we come through this salutation to the sun and some variations. We'll inhale as we lengthen and lift up through the arms, allowing the shoulders to slide down the back, and lifting the ribs up away from the pelvis. Seeing to it as you stay here that the ears remain between the arms, so that you're strengthening through the core of the neck as you relax the shoulders downward. One more breath here. And as you release from the position, we'll hinge at the hips to fold forward. In this forward bend, we still maintain the long, tall spine. Feel free to bend the knees as much as you might need to maintain that natural spinal alignment. And last breath here. Then releasing to step your left leg back. Draw the pelvis upward into the perpendicular position. Drawing upward through the arms as you gradually deepen the posture in Virabhadrasana. And one more breath, still maintaining that neutral elongation of the extended neck with the chin tucking and ears between the arms. And we'll release from here. And step it back into downward facing dog. Bending the knees to lift up high into sit bones. Releasing the head, so again the ears come downward just between the arms. And one more breath here. Now releasing from the position, take it forward into plank posture. And with the elbows wrapping in, we'll lower downward into stick. And pressing through inhalation as you draw upward in cobra. Sliding the shoulders down the back, drawing the heart space forward. And one more breath here. Releasing, tucking under the toes, and again with the knees bent, hinge at the hips. Just press your way up and back in downward facing dog. And one more breath. Releasing from the position, stepping left leg forward. With that left knee at a 90-degree position, draw the pelvis upward into the perpendicular posture. Continuing to extend through the spine as you reach arms up and overhead, and gradually deepening, still maintaining the core of the neck in the posture. And we'll release and step it forward into forward bend. Maintaining spinal length as you breathe and open the back body. And the last breath here. Releasing to draw your way back up into upward facing posture. Shoulders sliding down the back. And a last breath. And releasing to return to your standing mountain.
Another round through, instead of the warrior position, we'll be doing an upward pyramid and a forward pyramid. Inhale, raise up. One exhale. Exhale, reach through, and release. Pull forward. Keep bending the hip joint, pull forward. One breath, inhale, breathe. Exhale, reach through. Now take your right leg back. Left leg forward. And now come on up. When you do an upward facing pyramid, push off the sacrum with your thumbs or interweave your fingers. Go down the right thigh with your hands or push off the sacrum with your thumbs. Lift out of it. Arch into the upper back. Allow the throat chakra to open. Allow your sternum to open. One more breath here. Lift, reach through, and then release and fold forward over your inner left leg. As you fold forward over the inner left leg, maintain the length of the spine. Tip that right left hip up back. Reach through the pose. Low back long, neck is free. One more breath. Reach through. And then swing your front foot back to down dog. Inhale. Swing up to down dog. Couple breaths in down dog. Lift low belly. Flatten the back as you see with keys position. She doesn't need to bend her knees, and if you might. One more breath. The high lift of the sitting bones so the sternum can open. And then release. Swing forward down to plank. And then push up. Use your back muscles, your ab muscles. And then rear up to cobra for a couple exhales. Exhale. Lift out of it. Remember Jalandhara Bandha. Do a little bit of that now. One more breath. Breathe in, reach through, lengthening through, and then hook under with your toes. Raise up to down dog. 2 exhales as you get into down dog. Exhale, open, reach through. And one more breath. Inhale, breathe in. And exhale, and open, and reach through. Now swing your right leg forward. Fold over that right hip joint. And then come on up. Come back in. You're going to push off the sacrum or interweave your fingers. Either way, arch into the upper back. Slide down the back leg or push off the sacrum. The sternum's opening. You see the beautiful height of the piece lift. The opening of the throat area. One more breath. Arch it back. And then release and we'll fold over that front leg. As you fold over the front leg, the low belly lifts, the low back lengthens. The pelvis square from the previous position. Add one more breath in the forward pyramid, reach through, and then release. Now swing the back leg forward into the forward bend, double-legged forward bend. And 2 exhales here. Exhale, open back side of body, reach through. And one more, inhale, breathe. And exhale, reach through, opening the low back, lengthening through, putting the neck finally. The neck finally releases as you see with me. Inhale, raise up, chin is in slightly. If you're dizzy at all, keep your chin in. Couple exhales, exhale. If your low back and your neck are good, you might take it a little further back as you see with key. Otherwise, you're back higher like I am. One more breath, reach through, and then release. The hands down in prayer.
The next time through, we'll be varying further the flow, moving into some quad stretching in crescent position. Come along with us. We'll inhale and lengthen and lift and upward facing. Exhaling, taking it as far as you're comfortable and able to control that neck position. Releasing from the posture, hinging at the hips, folding forward. Maintaining the long, tall spine as you open the back body. Releasing from the position, stepping the left leg back until the left knee is on the ground. With the right knee straight on top of the right ankle, draw your torso upward, perpendicular pelvis in this left quad stretch. Showing a couple of variations as Bob's able to. Start to turn and look back to the left side, still pressing that left hip forward. Further variation I'll describe by bending the left knee and taking the left heel in toward the buttock. Gradually we might combine these variations by taking the left foot into the left armpit and hooking the right arm up and over the left hand in mermaid posture. One last breath here. Step back into your downward facing dog. And exhaling, lift up through the sit bones. And one more breath. Releasing from the posture, take it forward into plank pose. And exhaling, slowly lowering into stick. Elbows wrap in just 90 degrees at the elbows. And pressing it through, inhale to Bhujangasana. Exhaling, slide the shoulders downward and allow that fifth chakra to hood up. Inhale up and back to downward dog. Bending the knees as much as you might need to exhale and open up through the back body. And the last breath here. And releasing, stepping the left leg forward for crescent quad stretching. With the right knee down on the ground and that left knee on top of the left ankle. Draw the pelvis upward into the perpendicular. As you do so, gradually deepening again as Bob's demonstrating by turning to look back to his left side, to be your right side. Further possibility exists to deeply flex that right knee and draw the right heel into the buttock, or the further combination of those two variations in mermaid posture. Drawing that right foot into my right armpit and keeping it there with the right upper arm, gradually clasping hands and the eye gaze release turns to look down to the right knee. A last breath here. And as we release from the position, we step forward into our forward bend, opening up the back body. Releasing any tension in the neck, but still maintaining that long neutral neck alignment. And coming back up into position, upward facing posture. Shoulders sliding down the back. And one more breath. Now releasing from the pose, returning to your standing mountain. And we'll ground here with 3 breaths. Inhale, expand the arms to the side. Exhale, collect yourselves on what you're learning about yourself. A couple more times like this. Inhalation to collect. Exhalation for your integration. And yet again. Inhale. And exhale. And now pausing to note the changes that are taking place before we proceed onward to some challenging one-legged balances.
The one-legged balances we're going to perform now are variations of the dancer's pose. We'll start with the easy dancer's pose. Standing to your left leg, take hold of your right ankle that swings behind you. Now at first that right knee straight down from the right hip joint, and then your left arm can raise. From there you can start to pull that right foot back as you raise up vertically with your low rib cage area. At the same time you're trying to square the pelvis, drawing that right hip down. One more breath, fairly easy, simple dancer's pose. Now one variation you could try would be to swing that left hand onto the foot as well. Slightly more challenging, the balance issue. And one more breath here, whether you have both hands on or one hand. And then release. Now if you have both hands on, come to one hand, we're going to do a dancer's half moon pose. Same hand's going to come down, left hand down, a standing foot. Watch Keith's process on the way down. It's the outer hip, the standing leg, the outer left hip that rotates. Once down, you could have your hand on a block. Once down, you're going to open that top hip. You see Keith's foot is pulled far back. Now in some cases, you may not quite get all the way to the floor. You might be on a block and just pull back a little bit because the balance is very challenging. One more breath here. Now a variation that Keith is going to show is going to be with the opposite hand on the bent back leg. So she's now going to take her left hand onto the right ankle. I'm going to be showing the regular half moon. In the midst of this, do either version that's working for you. If it's in that the crossover one that Key is, work with the breathing. One more breath. Reach through, reach through, reach through, and then come up slowly out of there. And feel the effects, especially through that standing leg. Now we're going to shift sides. Stand next onto your right leg. You're going to hold the left ankle. We'll do the easy dancer's pose. Initially that left knee straight down. Then it starts to pull back. Right arm's going to come up, as you see Key doing, as you see myself doing. Drop the sacrum down, so there's a sense of dropping down to the sacrum with the low ribs lift. Your low back should have length to it. One more breath here in this fairly easy dancer's pose. And then if you wish to vary it by adding that second arm position, by taking the second hand onto the ankle, do so. One more breath, reach through, and then release, and come into the dancer's half moon. Right hand's going to start to come down. You're focused on the ground forward as you come down. And then as you see Key is down, or you could be on a block or something just above the ground if your inner thigh and back quad are tight. Once you get to wherever you're getting with that underneath hand, the top hip opens, the top foot gets pulled back, the underneath hip counter sinks in for the balance. And then the possibility exists for the opposite hand to come up. Watch Key's slow transition. Otherwise, you're just continuing in the dancer's half moon. The crossed over one is definitely more challenging. And one more breath here. Reach through, finding balance through the standing leg in either case. And then slowly coming up out with control, feeling the effect of those one-legged balance sets.
And now as we've come onto the ground, we're going to take it down to our back for some core work. Recline and draw your knees in towards the chest, giving yourselves a hug after the challenging one-legged balance set. And just one more breath here. As we release, we'll extend the legs along the ground into your corpse position. We're going to consider beginning with some core work for the neck. As you're here, tuck the chin and lift the head just as little as possible. Hold steady and strong as you breathe, and turn your head to the left side. As you do so, see to it that you're not laterally flexing the neck like this. That can make my voice sound funny, but instead maintaining a neutral neck alignment as you rotate. You can add to that the right foot flexing, laterally rotating and drawing upward to deepen the challenge to the core. And just one more breath. As we release the leg and the head back to center, give yourself a moment's rest before we take you to the second side. And as you recovered, again, we'll tuck the chin towards the chest just slightly, engaging the Jalandhara Bandha, lifting the head off the ground as little as possible. And from here, we'll turn and look to your right side. Still keeping the head back, not to lean over to turn it. Instead, a straight rotation to the best of your ability, and adding to that the low core by flexing the left foot, laterally rotating it, and lifting it off the ground. One more breath, and as we release, we return to the centered position, and allow your head and neck to turn passively side to side, and perhaps the feet in and out as well.
Now let's try both together. We'll raise both feet together, just slightly off the ground as you see key. The calves possibly could even graze the ground, and the head barely off too. As you're here, you're trying to lengthen the low back. The lumbar spine is slightly off. Your head would be lightly touching, certainly hair, but no weight on it. You're reaching through. Neck core is working, abdominal core is working, reaching apart to the best of your ability. A couple more breaths, reaching through. And one more, reach through, and then head down and knees in, and rest with the knees in. Just hold the knees, rock a little bit. From here, we're going to rock and come onto our belly. And do some core work on our belly. The first bit of work is going to be with the low back muscles and then into the upper back and neck. Raise your sacrum slightly, engaging the multifidi, and then raise both legs as you start to see doing. Now, it's not as, you don't have to go as high as possible, but reach through. We want to strengthen those low back muscles, strengthen the buttock muscles, the hamstring muscles, and then from here we'll raise the head off just slightly. Reach through, a couple more breaths. Mainly a low back strengthener. One more breath, reach through, and then release and come down. You can rest a couple of different ways. One would be the hands under the forehead. Another would be to swing back to prayer position. A third would be to let your head turn off to the side as you rest.
And after a brief recovery, we'll come again back to some neck core strengtheners. Tuck the chin towards the chest and take your nose downward towards the ground. Breathing freely and deeply as you strengthen into this neutral neck curvature. Now maintain that kind of neutral curvature as you turn and look over your left shoulder. Again, doing so, see to it that you're maintaining your neck in a neutral alignment as you rotate. Avoid hunching the shoulder up to the ear as if you're trying to cradle a phone between your ear and the shoulder. Instead, lengthen as you reach through into that rotation. Just one more breath on this side, and of course we'll do the same on the second side. Come back through the central position before you turn to the right. And as you do so, keep this right shoulder sliding down, away from the ear. Lengthening as you rotate, and breathing as you hold steady and strong. And one more breath. And we'll release and come back to the center. And again, take the break position that works best for you, either up and back into a prayer position as Bob's demonstrating, or with your head on the pillow of your forearms in crocodile. Now after just a moment's recovery, we're going to continue on to one further position here on our belly. So if you've been in prayer as Bob has, go ahead and extend through the legs and the hips yet again. And doing so, you can come up onto your forearms. From your forearm support, reach back the left hand to the left heel, or to the top of the left foot. Gradually, we draw the left heel alongside the buttock, stretching through the quadricep musculature, preparing the body for further challenges to come. Over time, that left foot might slide to the side of your left lateral buttock and start to come closer to the ground. See to it that there's no strain in the knee as you do so. And one more breath. Now releasing from the position, we'll build it to the second side, of course, staying on that left forearm. Reaching back, right hand to right foot, and drawing that right heel into the buttock. Slowly consider drawing the right heel to the side of the buttock and further downward towards the ground. Still keeping your left hip firm and flush to the ground. Breathing as you're reaching through. And a last breath here. And next we'll attempt to do similar work with both feet at the same time. Reach your hands back. And initially you'll take those hands to the inside of the feet. Over time, you might be able to rotate the fingers so they come up and over the tops of the toes. As the heels come to the side of the buttocks, gradually you're pressing downward with the feet towards the ground. And one more breath in Vikasana. And as you release, come on back from the position. And again, pausing in your prayer. It may be with hips up high, or hips down low as Bob's demonstrated. And one more breath here. And we'll release. And as we do, we're going to come on back up and start to shift into the use of the wall for some support as we develop further.
Now let's find a wall, and you're going to practice one of two. Forearm stand straight up and down using the wall, or a scorpion. He's going to show the scorpion with using the wall. On the forearm scorpion, you want to be at least a couple feet from the wall, and then you're going to kick up to the wall as in a regular forearm stand, and then from there, continuing to use the wall, she'll walk down the wall and start to shift her forehead up toward the wall. Her shoulders and forehead toward the wall. Now key is now not using the wall because she's able to find the balance without it. It's a shift of the shoulders as the upper back bends. Now the wall is, for most of you, the whole while. You need to tuck the pelvis and try to pull the weight up out of the low back, best of your ability. And then of course you can only hold it for so long, and then we'll come up and down. Now after the forearm stand or the forearm scorpion, of course the low back needs to be stretched out. So prayer position break between.
And now as Bob comes into the practice, you have an opportunity to practice it a second time. Sinking his forearms that shoulders distance apart, and as he kicks up, he finds the wall. Gradually walking the feet down as he feels the comfort level. He can shift the shoulders forward, head and eye gaze. Look forward as well between the fingers and towards the wall from there. If you're working with a partner who needs a little support, you might wish to spot him at the hips to help to lift the hips up and out of the rib cage. Gradually the feet come together and point downward towards the head as Bob's demonstrating. And as he's able, he's releasing and coming on back out to take another positional break to regulate some of that energy into the prayer position.
We're going to try two more inverted back bends, the scorpion handstand back bend. Here will be the demonstration. So while she finds the hand position about the same distance from the hands from the wall as the forearm scorpion, she kicks up, two handstand. And then using the wall, she'll walk down the wall, shifting her weight slightly toward the wall with her shoulders and head. She'll be walking down the wall, and then if you need to walk, of course you continue. He does not. The pelvis keeps lifting up to protect your low back. Your breath is there, your shoulder blades draw up, elbows in. Very powerful posture, like a scorpion. And then down, and of course always the rest after.
And now for your second opportunity to practice with us, the handstand scorpion, as Bob's demonstrating next for you. He's kicking up using the wall for support. And from handstand, he starts to bend his knees and walk the feet down lower on the wall. Doing so, he's shifting his shoulders forward. Again, the head and eye gaze is in front of his fingers, extending through the spine and the neck, drawing this inverted energy ever more into the higher chakra centers, and especially here and now into the throat chakra. As Bob's able, he releases and he draws his way back and down and again into his prayer position. And you may wish to do that as well. In this way, we're centering that energy exactly where we're wishing for it. And as such, I'm taking it right into Bob's neck. You may wish to do that either for yourself with your hands behind your neck for a massage or with your partner.
Now after the inverted back bend, we're going to loosen the shoulders for further back bends. It's a rotational activity at the wall. Find the wall, and he's going to take her right hand to the wall, and then she's going to walk away, walk parallel to the wall. And then start to roll her elbow forward. Now as she's doing that, the shoulder, the deltoid is rolling back. The hand can come away from the wall a little bit. You're using the wall to open that deltoid. So it's a turning of the sternum, a turning of the shoulder cap. And then she'll spin back out of this and take it to the other side. Left hand will come to the wall. It's about eye level. And then we turn, the feet start to walk around, the elbow rolls forward, the shoulder rolls back down. We need the lumbar support the whole while. The shoulder turns into this full rotation position. One more breath, reaching through, and then spin back out. Okay, now from here we're going to come down and do a quad stretch. Continued preparation for more back bending. Let's take your left knee back, and there's two choices. One is against the wall, as I'm doing. I'm taking my left knee back toward the wall with the right foot forward, and just a low lunge. He is doing a low lunge with the back leg straight. Now from here, I'm going to slowly lean into it. Most of you could start down on your forearms and then start to come up. It's a very deep quad stretch. And then start to come up, pushing off that front thigh with the same hand, or both hands. The other hand walks back. Now he's going to show us a deeper version of the quad stretch. A full rotation with the shoulder joint that she just practiced at the wall. And here's the rotation. Beautiful posture. Lifting, opening that back quad, lifting the sternum. In my case, I'm continuing to open the quad. In either case, you're opening the quad. One more breath. Breathe through it, reach through it. And then release and come out of it. Pause after you come out of it. Let your back leg especially recover. It's a very deep stretch. So take 20 seconds or so, breathing in prayer position, letting your low back ease out. And then, of course, we'll switch sides. Take your right knee back into the corner of the wall if you're choosing this version that I'm showing. Your left foot forward. Those of you against the wall could come down to your forearms initially to get well in front of that kneecap. You want to get the weight well in front of the patella bone. And then you come up and walk back, and then you take your same hand, left hand on the left knee, right hand walks back. So that's my version, and then settling into it, reaching to, and then he's going to show the full rotation. Very challenging pose to maintain the balance and be able to get the full rotation as that back leg is stretched in the extreme position. So whether you're at the wall or you're doing the posture key is at, find your steady breathing, the ujjayi breathing, find the openness of the sternum, the stretch of the back leg. One more breath, reach through, and then release, and we'll come out of it slowly. And again, a short rest after that very deep quad stretch. And of course, in Key's case, shoulder rotation as well.
Now, after preparing the quadriceps as well as the shoulders, we will move into a full extension in Chakrasana, wheel posture. Full back bend can be quite challenging. So if you're still working with a partner, there's no problem to have your partner assist you in lifting up the hips or the shoulders or both. But if you're feeling strong and able today, you can join us in a practice of back bending on your own, coming onto your back, walking the feet in by the hips, pressing to lift the hips upward, and then taking the hands by the shoulders. Elbows wrapped in as you press to lift upward. Gradually we press with the strong legs up and over until we open through the chest space further. Still maintaining the neck in its relatively neutral alignment, we can gradually release the head downward. And as you're working, some may consider ways to challenge themselves further by taking one leg up, still keeping the hips nearly squared. Of course, considering that same possibility on the second side, still opening through the chest. And one more breath. And as you release from the position, draw your way back down. And we'll hug the knees inward towards the chest again. And breathing, easing out the low back.
And now after the full back bend, we're going to try a pigeon posture with full rotation. First off, quadricep stretch into the pigeon. Take your left leg forward in front of the right hip, the right knee back, your left hand's down to the outside, your buttock might come slightly off, your left buttock slightly off, your right hip slightly off, and then you're going to bend the back knee and wrap, keys a mirror image to me. I'm calling it out, right forearm wraps around right leg. You're going to turn that back leg hip in toward the front foot. In my case, right hip toward the left heel of foot. And you can see the quad stretch element here. A couple more breaths. He wraps the second arm around as well. And one more breath. Lifting up out of it so your low back is long in the midst of the quad stretch. And then release. Come out of that side. And transition through down dog, and then the quad stretch to the other side. Right knee forward, keeping in your image. You push off the ground with the right hand, bending the left knee. You're going to take that back hand, the same hand, around to the inside of the foot, and then start to pull that foot down toward the ribs as you see Key doing. And then she takes it with a further rotation by wrapping the second arm around as well. I just have the one arm, wrapping it down in, pulling that foot in, opening that quadricep, and one more breath here, lifting up out of it, lifting up out, and release, and then transition. Now most of you are going to do pigeon. We're going to show one other demonstration as a possibility. That would be a standing dancer's pose, which for some is slightly easier than the pigeon on the ground. She would use the strap around the foot and then to get the shoulder to rotate through. So this is just showing an option as we'll be doing pigeon, that to either side. He doesn't need the strapping, so can do the full pigeon without the strap as well. Full dancer's pose. Okay, now let's most of us join full pigeon posture by coming down, taking your left foot in front of the right hip, the right knee back, and many of you will use the strap around that back ankle, pushing off the ground with the left hand, turning the right elbow through, with or without the strap. The posture looks very similar. It's a very powerful posture. The second hand eventually comes up and takes hold of the back foot, as you see Key doing. The back foot can pull up back. Now, of course, the key is that the low back lengthens in the midst of this pigeon posture. One more breath. Open the chest, puff it open, and release. Now come out of it slowly. Release that back leg, and transition through down dog. Hook under with your back foot. Raise up to down dog. Full dancer's option. Second side, Key showing. The elbow would turn through. Many of you would be using the strap in this case. elephant pose, king dancer pose. Or we're down on the ground trying it with the right knee forward, left leg back. The strap could go around the left ankle. The right buttock probably slightly off the ground as you start to turn through that left elbow. And then possibly the second hand comes up as well. If balance is an issue, you keep the right hand down as you turn through that left hip joint. It's a very challenging posture to keep your breath alive. A couple more breaths here, lifting up out of it, making sure your low back's long enough and your neck's not locking. One more breath, open the chest like a pigeon, and then release and come out of it slowly. Swing back to down dog. Couple breaths in down dog, let your low back ease out. And one more, reach through. Okay, now after the back bends, we're going to do a low back twist. Swing your left leg forward, your left foot just in front of your right hip. Your back leg is straight in this case. You're going to lean forward, drop your right forearm onto the ground, your right hand onto the edge of the left knee. And then we start to twist. You're leaning into it, reaching around. Now he's showing a slightly harder version of the twist by being more vertical. I'm leaning out there, just barely beyond parallel to the floor, lifting out of it, twisting. My back hand might hold on to my foot, or it might push off the sacrum. The key is to keep long through the low back in either case. You want to stretch your low back out after the extreme back bending that we've been doing. One more breath here, reach through, and then release, and we'll transition to down dog. Hook back with your right foot, raise up to down dog position. A couple breaths here. And then second side, now swing your right knee forward. Your right knee goes just to the inside of the right hand, the right foot just in front of the left hip. Then leaning forward, you take your left hand onto right knee and start to turn toward the right. Key to being more vertical. She swings her hand around. I do the same. I swing my hand around. I might get to the foot or the ankle. I might not. In either case. And then he's going to, by bending that back knee, lift, and it continues to be a quad stretch. I'm stretching my low back out, my front hip. A couple more breaths. Keep the neck long. In either case, don't dip the front shoulder forward. And one more breath. Breathe through it, reach through it, and release. And then come out of there. Back to prayer position.
Now after the challenging back bend work, we're going to take it into some work to help to open the outer hips, beginning with Sukhasana or easy posture. As you come into a cross-legged position, we'll take your left leg under and the right leg over so that the feet are right on top of the knees in this position. Seeing us from the side, you can see that the knees are in the same horizontal plane with the hips, and we want to maintain that long, tall spine as we gently hinge at the hips and pull forward. Breathing as you come forward in Sukhasana, still drawing ribs out of hips, and breathing as you reach through. And one more breath here. Now as you release from the position, you can come up and deepen the stretch into steer posture. Still with that same left leg under. Knees come together, abducted in this way, and the feet are to the sides of the knees. Gradually hinging at the hips, we can pull forward. Still maintaining a long, tall spine in the steer position. And one more breath here. Now as we release from the posture and draw our way back up, we'll take the feet in closer to the hips as we approach cow facing. Coming into cow facing position, we'll take the arms up as well with your right arm over and the left arm under. Fingers may weave together, and from here Motion-wise, working through these three variations help to open the various rotators of the outer buttock, 6 of them entirely. And just one more breath here, still maintaining spinal length. And as we release from the posture, we draw our way back up. And releasing from the position, you can take the feet soles together, opening the knees to the side, just briefly in bound angle. And from here we'll repeat the sequence on the second side. This time with your right leg under and the left leg over in Sukhasan or easy posture. With the feet and the knees together, we're creating a box-like position through the legs and still hinging at the hips and fold forward. So maintaining that long, tall spine as you do the work, lengthening ribs out of hips, calling upon the forearms along the knees as Bob is demonstrating is another way to modify the position. And just one more breath here. Now as you release, draw your way back up and with a firm adduction of the thighs together, you can slide the feet outward to the sides of the knees, allowing the knees to come downward towards the ground as you deepen the sensation in your outer hips. And in this steer posture, we hinge forward, lengthening through the spine and breathing as we do so. Still maintaining that long, tall spine, and in that way, our free and deep breathing. And a last breath here. And as you release from the position, we'll draw back up and taking the feet in by the hips in Gomukhasan. All three positions could be practiced also sitting upon a cushion to help to even out the tight outer hips. Now as we add the arms into the work, it's the right arm under and that left arm over, hands clasping. If you're unable to take fingers together, you could always be using a strap to make that connection. As you're hinging forward, you're still keeping ribs lifting up and out of hips and breathing as you reach through. And a last breath here. And we'll release from the position and draw your way back up.
After the restorative postures of the outer hip stretches, we're going to try the rather demanding pose of shoulder stand and plow. Now, as a variation for shoulder stand, if shoulder stand's a bit much on your neck, he's going to demonstrate a hair pose. From prayer position, she lifts her hips and then rolls, let's see if she's going to do a somersault toward the back of the head, walking the knees in a little bit. She can take her hands onto the heels of the feet as she's showing now, or interweave the fingers and take the arms up, much like the ears of a rabbit. Thus the name of the pose, hair pose. It's a neck stretch that's a little gentler than shoulder stand and plow. So you could continue to do this posture rather than the shoulder stand and plow. Or
you could join Bob as he comes into shoulder stand and plow. Coming onto his back, he's making sure that he has the support he needs to maintain a neutral neck alignment. And as he's pressing his way upward, he can use his hands behind his hips to help him lift those hips up and out of the rib cage. With Bob's legs upward and over the shoulders, not over the head, that's ensuring that the body weight stays back towards the shoulder for nourishment of the thyroid and the throat as we're focusing into this particular chakra. Now there are many variations, but for today's purposes and to focus further into the throat chakra, Bob will begin to shift into plow position or halasana. Hinging deeply at the hips, the feet can come to the wall for support as my hands are providing just now, or the feet could come all the way down to the ground as Bob is able to with more gentle loosening of the hamstrings, so maintaining a long, tall spine to the best of your ability, and in this way allowing the energy throat and the neck. One more breath. And then as Bob's able to, release and come on back down one vertebrae at a time with control. And as he comes downward, he'll hug the knees into the chest, and we'll take it into a gentle reclined twist, keeping that right knee in towards the chest, circling around the outer right hip. Cross that right knee to the left side. Head and eyes can turn and look back to the right. If you wish for a more challenging variation, you could be extending through your top right leg. Whatever the variation, just one more breath here, and we'll release from the position, untwisting. Pausing for just a moment, giving yourselves a hug, making sure all is well from the strenuous practices. And as it's finding that it's fine, we'll extend through the right leg, left knee inward, and then crossing the left knee over to your right side. Gradually, you could again consider extending through the left leg, still maintaining waistline distance. Head and eyes can turn and look back to the left. And one more breath here. And we'll release and untwist and give yourselves a hug.
Now we'll come to a seated position, and we're going to do just a minute of breathing and then a little bit of chanting to help open the throat chakra. Set your spine straight, lift up through the back, lift through your low rib cage area, settle the shoulders, allow your neck to lengthen. A couple exhales, empty slowly, Ujjayi exhale, and inhale slowly from the bottom up. Draw the energy up through the spine, right on through the neck, through the throat chakra into the third eye and Sahasrara chakra. Now as you exhale, maintain length of spine. And one more time like that. Inhale, draw from the base of the spine up, through the spine, through the Sushumna channel, through the chakras, right onto the crown chakra. And then exhale and maintain length of spine. Now from here we're going to try some seed syllables, seed sounds. The sounds are long, vang, rang, yang, hang, ang, om. They affect the chakras. The first chakra is L, long. Let's chant it together. Inhale. Long, 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 long. Second chakra, V, Vang. Vang, 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 vang. Third chakra, R, Rang. Rang, 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 rang. Heart chakra, Y, Yang. Yang, 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 yang. H, throat chakra, Hung. Hung, 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 hung. Just A and G, the third eye, Hung. And then Om, especially the humming part for the crown chakra. One time through all together. Inhale. Long, long, rang, yang, hang, rang,
Now allow your breath to go into its own rhythm and bask in your awareness of the way in which this particular practice is affecting you. You may wish to stay sustained here in your meditational practice in the vertical or in a corpse position. After you have obtained the maximal benefit of the energies that we've generated today, allow yourself to return to the vertical position with us for closing. As you do so, pause to notice yet again the changes that have taken place in body, mind, and spirit. And as such, we offer our voices together in gratitude as we conclude. Inhaling. Hari Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Let's be the peace that's deep within. Joy Bhagwan and Namaste.
Namaste.